Absolutely it is. It's all on the line. 4 laps to go for McKay.
It's make it or break it time for these young drivers. The Zero wants to get back in victory lane, and here comes the slingshot from the Zero. Tanton Woolridge dives real deep underneath the 71. What a power move by Tanton Woolridge. He now goes away from the 71.
And he'll pick up the lead. The 71 little bobble down there in corner number 1 and 2, trying to track down the McKinnon Brothers Service Center number 0, but he's running out of time now. 2 laps to go. These two have been the quickest drivers all weekend long. Woolridge sideways, trying to get a little more than he bargained for. 71 looks to the inside. Chase McKay looking for the lead. Side by side at the white flag. Final lap in the Bando Blast. The 71 of McKay trying to take it away from Woolridge. Final time. Down the back straightaway, Woolridge digging deep on the outside. He licks the stamp on the outside. The 71 will come to the double checker with the 0 on the outside. McKay, finger out the window. He's your winner of the Bandolero Blast. Get the photo out of the way. Get one from Michelle, too.
Okay, now are we live? Now we're live. Okay, perfect. Welcome to Tim's Corner Live, episode number 31. This is going to be a fun night, boys. Tim Terry, Denver Match, Dylan Langell along for the ride. Big weekend last weekend, Speed Weekend 2021. Dylan, your first Speed Weekend, what'd you think of it?
I loved it. My back's a little sore from sleeping on an air mattress. My voice was absolutely wrecked yesterday talking on the radio, but it was so worth it. What a weekend. Mother Nature was great the entire time except for tearing down the tent. Denver knows. It was quite the rainy affair trying to pack in from Fredericton, but great weekend kicking off at Scotia Speed World with the weekly racing and then the Sportsman Showcase on Saturday, the granddaddy of them all, the Remax 250, and it was a great weekend. That's all I can pretty much say. Every race at the track was solid this weekend.
Absolutely it was. We just came off the Bandolero highlights, and Denver probably knows as well as I do when you have a quick turnaround like this week, there's not a whole lot of time to do anything. The mini stock finish was absolutely phenomenal between Dave Matthews and Ryan McKnight. You look at the 250, Corey Hall winning that one. We're going to talk to Cory in a bit. The battle between Michael Cormier and Luke McLaughlin in the Gillespie and Sun Street Stock 100 was great. The Legends put on a great show. Craig McDonald finally getting a Speed Weekend win. List goes on and on. We only had so much time to edit so much, but Denver, it was a great weekend. And top it off for you. You got to go to Victory Lane on Sunday.
I did. That's like a dream come true, going to Speed Weekend as a kid, that's the biggest weekend of the year. So no, I don't drive a race car, but even being in Victory Lane on Speed Weekend Sunday is a pretty big deal. But what a phenomenal weekend, Speed Weekend 2021. Certainly lived up to the hype. And Dylan, I don't know if you were there when the wind tore the middle tent down on Saturday, but that was interesting. But certainly a wild Speed Weekend, lots happening. I know Brett and Roy put up the picture last week about all the stories that place could tell. And, after this weekend, certainly lots more stories that Speedway 660 can tell, but some of them might have a few holes in them.
Not going to touch that one, Dylan?
Maybe. I don't know. My tent didn't blow over. I made sure it was completely on the ground. It was a pain setting up on Saturday. It was quite windy, but
I should have seen setting up at 10:30 on Friday night.
Oh God, that sounds horrible.
After you had left, Dylan, I helped Brittany and Denver tear down their tents, and it was nice and dry. So I don't know what you're talking about with rain or anything, but anyways, it was a fun weekend. I want to thank the Roy family for allowing us to come up and do what we did. If you missed any of it, the full archive on demand available at timscorner.tv with your subscription or with your per event pass with whatever event you want to watch. But you get the subscription, you save a little bit of money over the 3 days that you would have went and watched it. So head over there and check that out. But we're getting ready to have a jam-packed show. We're talking Grudge Match a little bit later on with Bob and Riley Goodwin. We got Michael Cormier coming up in the second portion of the show. And boys, I'm going to let you guys, for the most part, take care of this. Brandon Campbell is here, right?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Okay, so Brandon's going to take care of social tonight. I'm going to be here. I'm going to chime in from time to time. But Denver, Dylan, as you guys know, this is a busy time of year. So I've got some stuff to do to get ready for this weekend with the Atlantic Modified Tour and with Petty International Raceway and getting their stuff ready to go for this weekend and some background stuff. So I've got some work to do. I'll be here, but you guys will be able to carry this one and along with Brandon. But we'll introduce our first guest first, and it is the 2021 Remax East Coast Elite Realty Pro Stock 250 champion, the driver of the number 83 car, and it is Cory Hall. And I do this, take this off of here, and we will be good to go. So, boys, have at her.
You do a little this, you do a little that, and you connect this and connect that. We're just connecting to Cory there. Cory, can you hear us, my friend?
I'm clear.
Perfect. We're just watching a little video of the highlight package of your big win at Speedway 660 a couple nights ago. It's still got to feel pretty surreal to you, right, man?
Yeah, it's incredible. I tell you, it's still not fully sank in yet. What took place, and I know, like every racer probably that went there, we went with the intentions on winning, and you prepare yourself to win, and you try to put everything together to make sure that you're in that position by the end of the race. But for it to actually happen is just incredible.
For those that may not know, maybe they haven't caught any highlights, Cory Hall won the Remax 250 on Sunday, and it's the only 250 again in the Maritime. So that even adds a little more on that too, right, Cory? It's the only big long distance race for 2021 in this region.
Yeah, that makes it pretty cool as well. And to beat a lot of really quality cars and a strong field, and at a track that I really enjoy was really cool in front of a really good crowd of people and a lot of my peers as well. So it was crazy. I was so speechless in Victory Lane, and I'm sure I was rambling on. And tonight's probably not going to be much different. I'm still at a loss for words.
You're like a kid on Christmas right now. I don't think we can take the smile off your face, but we've had you on the show before. A lot of people know about your career, but let's talk about Speed Weekend and going into it. What preparations did you have to put into that number 83 car to be as competitive as you were? You had practice Friday night, a little bit on Saturday. Did the 2 days really help with that, or a little extra, or you just guys knew we're going to be good at this track?
Yeah, and I mean, we knew going in that we were going to have a strong piece. I knew that Slonway and Austin were going to be cars that we were going to have to race with, running basically the same package and same cars. So they were going to be tough. And honestly, I spent Friday practicing on my old race tires, and just I don't get a lot of seat time in the car. So any opportunity that I can get to get in the car and turn laps is good. So for as far as tuning on the car, I tried a handful of things and none of them worked, and I went back to what I had. But for as far as the driving aspect, I felt like I needed the laps just to get familiar with everything, and run through a couple different lines and styles of driving and things I wanted to do. So it was good to get those days of practice in. But for as far as the car, it was honestly really good firing off, and did make a lot of changes, and got I don't know if you'd say lucky, but it all worked out.
So we come into Sunday. We have the heat races earlier in the afternoon. It was kind of a longer afternoon, a pretty long street stock race with lots of cautions. And compared to other pro stock races like with Tour, there's a lot of time in between there. Did that give you a little bit of time to kind of go over how the heat races went and to even put the final preparations in there?
Yeah, no, that allowed time to just set up your pit stop, all your equipment with the guns and regulars and air tanks and dump cans and all that stuff. That was a neat part of it too, where we've never done a live pit stop like that before. So that was neat as well to do that, and to have a good group of guys to get us in and out, and not have a wheel fall off or anything stupid like that was a big deal, and to run that through with the crew. And then also just everything with the legend cars was going on too, so it kept me pretty busy through the day.
That's right. You would have been Mr. Owner. You would have the owner cap with Craig with Craig and Danny, and then they were helping you out too. So they had a pretty long day as well. Were they jacking the car up? Were they changing the tires? What was their role helping you get the win this weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty flat out for the both of them. I had Craig was doing stagger all day, and then my buddy Andre came down from Ontario to watch the races and help out. So he was doing pressures, and Danny was there helping out as well. So it was good. And then we had Chase McKay was down helping us out as well, and along with Scott Alexander and Daniel Curry was there. So and then obviously Dad. So they all were quite busy, and then we were parked so that our trucks were facing each other, but we were on opposite parts of the pits, but they just had to walk across to get to us. So there was a lot of walking back and forth between myself, them, and everything going on, but it was we made it work.
The Remax 250 winner, Cory Hall, is here. If you're watching us on Facebook, leave a comment. Cory's an open door to chat about this. The biggest win of your career, and the way the race went, Cory, I found with Tim and myself announcing, it was kind of in different stages. That first part took a little bit. We had the first big wreck on lap 2 involving Ashton Tucker, which I still don't know how he didn't pilot into the 10 car there. But then we had the 97 and the 81 tangle. And then we had the incident with the 23 and the 13. Of course, we had the stuff in the pits, but on the track, though, we had that happen. How did you find that beginning of the 250 where we just couldn't seem to get out of the street stock thing with all the wrecks happening?
Yeah, it was wild. Before the race, I talked to Andrew and I talked to Austin and Slonway and everybody, and said, look, we're the last race, I won the first heat race, Austin won the second heat race. I led the laps, and then when it was time for us to race, we raced. So this time I said, well, Austin, you lead, and I'll follow suit. And when it's time for us to race, we'll race. And obviously, we wanted to get lap money, but I wanted to win the race, and we had to kind of play that out. So early parts of the race, we were there was wrecks and stuff and cautions, but we had a little bit of a long stretch. I guess long was 15 laps, maybe, I don't know. But me and Austin gapped out, but we were still saving our stuff and our tires. And then obviously it was an unfortunate incident with him and the 23. I was right there for all that, and I was quite concerned I was going to get collected in it, and was quite fortunate that Austin never overcorrected right, or never got shoved up too, like, so far up into me that I got collected in that. But yeah, that was crazy. And then we had a string of cautions after that to get to, I don't know what it was, 100, and then all of a sudden it was like the seas parted, and then it was just straight green. And it was funny because about 2 laps before Dustin Tucker running a gas, I was on the radio to Scott, and I said, are they not throwing a caution? Like, are we just gonna all run the gas? And he said, no, you had your chance at 100. That's it. And I'm like, oh my God. I run an 18-gallon fuel cell because we got it used through King and stuff. And Slomway had it at 22, and all I could think about was, I'm going to run out of gas, and he's not, and I'm going to lose this race. And unfortunately for Dustin, he ran out first. So as I came around and he was parked, the carburetor started stumbling, and I was starting to run out. I was like, thank God.
At that race, I will say another stage, and I was a little curious about it in the booth, but maybe now it makes a bit more sense. You were lapping the entire field, but then you caught up to Chris Reed. Yep. It appeared that Chris was blocking, but were you also in a fuel conservation mode, knowing you had a bit of a gap in front of the 99? And then that's when the 52 had his fuel run outage on the front stretch?
Honestly, I hadn't thought too much about running out of fuel until we got to that 190, 200 mark, and it all of a sudden hit me. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I can't make it. Like we have to have a caution. I can't do this. And then with the 31, it was just, he was just trying to stay on the lead lap as much as he could. And I was in a position where I could kind of give him a little bit of slack, but I just didn't want a rerun of the Petty race was what I was worried about, and couldn't afford to have something go wrong.
So we had the caution, we had the live pit stops. Craig gets in front of you on that restart. What are your thoughts going into that with the 99 getting ahead of you by it couldn't have been more than 10 seconds?
It was tight. I mean, my guys did a great job. Obviously, like I said, everything was tight, and nothing fell off, and they got all the fuel in it that it needed, and everything was great. But they had an exceptional stop, and kudos to them. So we rolled out, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to work for this. So obviously I would have wanted to come out first, but I was excited for the challenge, and obviously racing with Craig is fun. He races really clean but hard, and I was looking forward to it. And got in. I spun the tires on the restart and did an awful job there, and then got in line and just kind of had to wait for the right time to make the move, and got a run coming at it too alongside of him, and we battled it out from there.
Looking through the comments here, Brandon, our social media guy, stepped away for a second. He sent us a message here. I guess his only job. Cory, there's a lot of congratulations coming here. And, how did it feel on that final lap? You've got a sizable lead over the 99, and you knew it's in the bag here. I'm a 250 winner.
Yeah, I honestly, like I keep saying, it took a lot to believe it. I drove around and I'm like, oh my God, we did it. We won the race. And it's just, I'm not one to get terribly nervous in a car, or I'm sure I can get wound up and a little vocal on the radio by times, but it all kind of hit me that it happened. And I didn't, it was just hard to believe. Going into the weekend, I knew the car we had and the chance we had and the opportunity we had to make it happen, just that it actually happened and nothing went wrong, nothing. It was for the most part a smooth night. It was pretty surreal. And then to get to victory lane, to get the flag, to celebrate with everybody, to have everybody there, the pictures and the interviews and talking to everybody was just crazy. And then it took until we got to tech, and then it fully sunk in, like I'm the 250 champion.
Your pro stock program, Corey, I remember that first Bubble Buster race in 2020. It was like lap 3, the 83s and a pile of steam, and from there up to now, I mean, it just shows how much this pro stock program you have, along with King Racing, but with yourself and everyone, your family, this just proves a smaller team can get it done, right?
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal. I don't like to sit there and say, oh, we're just a little team. Oh, I don't want to make those excuses, or, I don't want to be looked at like that. But at the end of the day, it's pretty small for as far as what we have for funding and what, we have the ability to do for races, and the time allowance and how much I pour into it myself. And, it's a group effort, but it's a pretty small group, and I'm incredibly thankful for everybody that's a part of it. And obviously with King Racing, I wouldn't be in this position without their support and the knowledge and information that we work off of. And then obviously the parts and stuff that I've gotten through them, and deals of used stuff and all that. When we first built the car, it was a big undertaking. It was expensive, and we waited two years and saved up for 2 years to even build it. We put a lot of used parts on, and we spent all of last year replacing those used parts with new parts because they would fail, and we'd have stupid stuff happen and struggle with stupid stuff. And we finally got to this year where I finally figured out what I needed in the car, where it needed to be. I finally was confident in the adjustments I was making to have the car I needed, and then had the parts to make it all happen.
I can see that our social media dude, Brandon, is back. Brandon, I'm seeing social media flare up here with a lot of questions for Corey. What do you got for Mr. 250 here?
Yeah, I had to go get my pizza, but I'm back now. Yeah, there's a bunch of people in here. Brent Patterson's here. I think he's here more than the rest of us are. He's here all the time. So he says, awesome job, Corey. And one of his questions was, let me find it again. When did you start racing? Because he said he'd like to maybe drive a race car one day.
Yeah, so I started, I started drag racing when I was 8 years old, and then I started stock car racing, I believe I was 14, and then I ran my first full season when I was 15. But obviously a lot of people do it a lot sooner than that for as far as starting stock cars. I know Ethan is 10, and he started in a bando, but then on the other side, there's people that are, older in age. I say older, but in their 30s, 40s, 50s that start, and it's never too late, and it's never really too early per se, just depending on the classes. So
yeah, for sure. We have our friend Aiden McDonald in here, and he says, good job, Corey. So
Thank you.
He must be aging out of the bando soon. So what would you give to a guy like that who might be moving up into something else? What kind of knowledge could you feed him?
Yeah, actually, Aiden was his father was the tire changer for his father. Craig was changing the tires on the weekend, and he was in the victory lane celebrations, which was cool. And yeah, no, it's a lot of people kind of, I wouldn't say worry, but put a lot into moving up. But it's a gradual process, and once you're ready to move up, it's a bigger car, more power, and all that. But it's not to fret too much, and just kind of take what it is and get some practice laps and kind of work your way up to it. Legend cars are a lot of fun. I do believe he has one, and they're working at that direction. So I look forward to seeing him in that as well.
Yeah, and I think a few of the other ones already have legends. So I mean, you went through those ranks, and obviously you won pretty much everything there is to win in a legend, and you just won the Pro Stock 250. So what's one big thing you'd like to get out of your way in the Pro Stocks?
Well, as much as Jonathan Hickens going to try to deny me this, or talk about denying me this, we've been teasing each other back and forth in the shop pretty well for the past 2 weeks since he's known that he's going to race is the Mike Stevens. That's a big deal to a lot of people, but it's a big deal to me as well. And I look forward to racing with everybody that's there and hopefully challenging for the win there as well. We had a lot of great races at Petty this year, and I really look forward to getting back there. That's a big one for me. And then from there, I don't know. I just try to take what I can get. I think I've always looked at New Smyrna. The speed weeks there is incredible. Obviously, for us funding wise, that's not really an option, but it's one that it excites me a lot. So I hope someday that's an option for us. And then aside from that, I don't know. Obviously someday, I'd like to get to the IWA 250, and someday I'd like to get to the Cat 250 and try to, do maybe what Cassius was able to do and complete the 3. I've got a decent amount of time, I think, to try to do that.
Pump the brakes here. Jonathan Hickens is racing at the Mike Stevens Memorial.
We just broke some news, Dylan.
There we go. This is bigger than me winning the 250. He is going to be there.
Yeah, let's get him on here. We don't need Cory on here anymore.
No, that's awesome news. So I'm assuming he's with King Racing. What's the details that you can tell us here exclusively?
Yeah, breaking news. Jonathan Hickens will be racing the Mike Stevens Memorial. I don't know 100% all the details of that quite yet. I know he's going to be renting a car to race this race and has a short amount of time to figure that out. So hopefully they have some news to share with everybody. But yeah, that's the exciting news from their part.
Holy moly. Denver, what do you got now for him? I was kind of thinking, well, what could Denver ask? But holy, we may have just topped it there.
I'm a little shook. That's some big news. And I mean, you look at people that have won that race. Jonathan Hickens won it more than anybody. So definitely some big news. But Cory, going back to your 250 win, it was one moment I wanted to ask you about early on in the race when I think just after you got the lead, there was a little bit of a hairy moment. I thought a lap car came out of the pits. Was that as close as it looked like from the grandstands? And what was going through your mind?
Yeah, that was okay. That was a little unexpected, but that was okay. But if he come out a little more, or we had a situation like a couple of years ago, it would have been really bad.
Definitely, but thankfully everything was all good and you were able to keep going.
Yes.
I want to talk about that paycheck. I don't know what it ended up being, $22,000 or something like that. It was pretty much the biggest possible pay anyone could win in Atlantic, Canada. You said you don't like using the word small team, but you mentioned you race on a budget. To have that big check, what's that mean to your team?
Oh, it's huge. We've already changed our plans to now. I think we're planning on racing the Scotia 200. So that's stuff. That's huge to us to be able to make another race and have the funding to do so. So yeah, it's huge. This is something that Andrew already said to me, "What are you going to spend your money on?" And I'm like, "Well, man, I get to go to another race, and then I'm just sitting here making a list of all the go fast parts that I can get now and upgrades and stuff we can do to the car and all the cool stuff like that." So I'm very excited to hopefully start doing that, and then just keep coming back better. That's the thing. I know me as a driver, I got to keep getting better, and there's a lot of things for me to work on. And then with the car, I know there's always more we can get. So it's just a matter of to keep getting better, because everybody else is too. And that's the thing going this Mike Stevens race. I mean, you're going to have the best of the best. Jonathan is going to be there. And I am so excited to be able to race with him. Even if he beats me, I'm just excited to have him there.
Talk about the dominance of this race. I don't think you were never actually outside the top 3, and I'm not sure how the aftermath of the disqualifications affect things, but depending on the procedures, you might have led every single lap of this race. We haven't seen a race like this in a 250, I think, since Cassius Clark led like 242 or 246 laps in 2015. One of those dream races. How do you top it?
I don't know. Had I pushed hard from the start and potentially not lost a spot on pit road and led every lap, that would have been incredible. But I don't know. It's so funny. Everybody talks about game plan this and game plan that and how you're going to run your race, and I think about it and try to play it out, but you never know how it's going to play out. And it was one of those deals where I had no intentions really on leading that much until it got time to where I felt like I needed to be in that position. And when the wreck happened there with Austin, it took him out. Well, then all of a sudden it kind of just left me to lead. And then when Slomwick got to second, I kind of enjoyed leading, and I didn't want to give that up. He pushed me hard and kept me honest, and we pushed hard from then on out. And then once we kind of got that 7 to 10 car gap with Slomwick, I kind of started to manage that a little later in the race. And then it's funny, we started lapping cars, and then I'm starting to realize like these are starting to get to fast cars and getting faster cars and faster cars. And then I seen Ashton, and then I stopped going slow, and I picked up the pace, and I said, holy Christ, I got to get this guy up down, because even if he gets the lucky dog, he's going to be at the back. Like, I got to try to capitalize on this as much as I can, because you can never count them out and how strong they've been there. I didn't know if they were in a position they were trying to ride, or were struggling a little bit with the car and just we're trying not to push. So I put a push on to try to get them that lap down. And then, after that, we caught Chris and then got by him. And then had it not switched to fuel concern, Devin Snell was right there too. And to have, it wasn't just a one car dominance, it was a King Racing dominance with Slomwick not far behind and lapping these cars as well. So it was a really big statement for us as a company and as a organization. It was really cool to lead the way.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this 2021 season, have you won every race you've started except that tour race at Petty, which you were leading?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that race is hard to look back on. I know I criticize myself day in and day out over it, and wish I could go back. And being in the situation I was, I felt like I had no option aside from trying to move him. And I certainly regret that, because he obviously spun himself, and that was awful. So aside from that, yes, this season has been phenomenal.
Well, let's forget about that. You have a win percentage of like 80% or 90% or something crazy like that. Like, that never happens in racing. So I don't know if I can ever recall someone so dominant in pro stock in a single season. And do you think that you're going to be the favorite going into the Mike Stevens race?
I don't know. I like to think so. I feel like obviously Jonathan Hickman's his favorite, and I can't deny that. I feel like he's the man that everyone's going to be eyeing up, and he's the guy that you don't know what he has unless he tells you, and then you better look out, because he can be, we're talking about today, he can be third, fourth, time wise, and you don't really know what you're in for until you get out in a race. So nobody's gonna really know what he's got until we get into this race and see where we end up. But obviously it's different with me. We've been quick in practice and kind of shown speed and qualifying and all that. So we kind of had a rough idea where we're going to be race based, but he's a wild card, and I shouldn't say wild card. He's going to be tough, and I look forward to it. But for as far as the wins, I think, obviously, had we been able to branch out more and do more races. Obviously, Scotia's not a very familiar track to me, and Riverside's not a very familiar track to me. But I wish we could have done more of that. I would have loved to go on a PEI. I love that track, but obviously with restrictions and all that, kind of dampened that. But yeah, if we had a race more, obviously I would have won less. But we got to race tracks I was familiar with, and had a phenomenal car to do so.
We talked about the big races earlier, the IWK 250s, the CAT 250s, and which unfortunately, due to the restrictions, aren't going to happen in 2021. But you have the Riverglade International at Petty. You have the 250 at Speedway 660. The Mike Stevens is next. No one's ever won all three of New Brunswick's big races, albeit only one's a 250. But you look at those other two races, you got the International. What would it mean to basically sweep the province of New Brunswick in 2021?
Oh, it would be crazy. This is something that it's very humbling. It's very incredible for me to look at and see, because this was never anything that I like. The 15-year-old kid that was racing bandos, I never sat there and said, well, I want to be a 250 pro stock champion, or I'm gonna be. I might have sat there and said, oh, I would love to do that or love to be that, and had aspirations maybe of that. It was never anything that I thought was a possibility or even an option for us. And to be able to put this much effort in and to make it all come is crazy.
Dylan, it's been a pretty impressive season for a guy who didn't even have a pro stock win coming into the 2021 season.
I know you talk about a sophomore season. Sometimes you hear the sophomore slump, but that hasn't been you, Cory. I'm going to look at a few more social media questions here so we can kind of tie it into the next big race for you coming up, the Mike Stevens Memorial, Saturday, September 18th. Petty just announced on Facebook 27 cars are registered for the race. We know two of them, you and Andrew Picken. But Joey Mosier's wondering, how much confidence do you have now going into this race after getting the 250 win?
Yeah, every race just keeps building and building, and it's something that obviously is not to be mistaken with arrogance. It's just flat out confidence. I finally feel confident with my ability. Last year, as much as it was a learning year, it was hard to have Jonathan winning races and to be the guy learning and just not having the same balance, not having the car do what I felt like it should, and to struggle with rear grip as much as we did. It was hard for me to sit there and watch him be successful and wonder, well, is it me? Can I just not get a handle on this? And there was times of that, and then it got to where I just had to clamp down and say, I got to do this. And I spent the winter preparing the car, preparing myself, going through footage of videos, trying to criticize my races and myself to be better. And we showed up this year and we were better. Obviously, not having Jonathan there kind of sucks to not have that guy to compare to. But obviously this year he's going to be there, and that's exciting for me. But yeah, this year, as we keep rolling through these races, it's just my confidence keeps building and building to where I know what I need, how hard I got to go, and what kind of race I need to run and manage. So it's exciting to get to this race. But again, this is going to be a different race again. Every 40 laps, there's going to be a caution. So that's going to change it. I'm a big fan of long runs. I like to be able to stretch it out and have a gap and be able to manage. But this isn't going to be that. There's going to be restart after restart after restart, and I won't be able to make mistakes. So I'm excited for that, but it's going to be a different type of race.
I was going to ask that, Cory, but this is going to be a different race compared to the 250. 50 extra laps, but you're going to have those cautions. Taylor Albert's watching. Number one, he congratulates you on the win. He was asking, how much do you have to save up for your stuff, and when is it go time in a 250 race compared to a 200 with 40-lap cautions, depending how they fall? It's going to be apples and oranges, right? It's going to be completely different things.
Yeah, it's all a matter of what you have. So, when we ran the tour race, I'll have to back up. When we ran the international race, it was 200 laps, 4 tires, and you run on what you have. So if you abuse your right front or your right rear, that's the tire you got to have for the whole race. So me being inexperienced, I went way overboard on trying to save and conserve. I spent way too much of the race doing that. I mean, I ran fourth for so long, and when it should have been time for me to go, I picked the bottom on that restart, and I forget what lap that was. It was 110 maybe ish. I should have went then. I didn't. I took the lead more of a point because of an altercation, and then gave it back and tried to save again. And then when it was time to go, I had an issue passing a car, and that kind of screwed me up for quite a while. And then I didn't get to the lead, to the lead car. Thankfully, we had that restart, which kind of gave the race back to me that I'd thrown away. So that was much, much different. I learned from that. But then you look at, 125. Well, I was able to save because we were leading and had that gap and stuff. But then we went, and then the 250, honestly, because we had those 2 tires to save, once Longway got up there and wanted to push me at lap 100, I went pretty hard to get that, to keep the lead and get that gap. And I think it'll probably be a very similar race to 200. You're going to have 40 lap cautions. So even if you do abuse a little bit, you get a caution to kind of settle down your tires, let them cool down, and go back at it.
We got a few more minutes here with Cory, everyone that's watching on Facebook. So we'll throw a last call for questions or congratulations to Cory. You mentioned the team, the family. It's a family affair. Your mom, your dad, your buddies. This win, it's just the cherry on top of a very successful season, but you don't do it alone, though.
No, not at all. Obviously, I got a lot of people to thank. My parents being the first. I dedicate everything to this. It's taken my life over between work and my own racing and everything we do. It's racing. I miss out on family events. I don't get to spend enough time with my family, and as much as that can wear on me by times, they're more than okay with it. They take a lot of their time to help me and follow this vision and dream I have of what I want to do and accomplish. And they're great about it. And then my new, fairly new within the last month, girlfriend, Kelsey Ann, she is amazing with it as well. And then obviously my friends of Craig and Danny and Andre coming down, they're always there helping. And then obviously Scott Alexander was on the radio spotting. His buddy Daniel Kerr was there jacking and helping out. Dave Jordan's been to races, all the King crew of Terrence, Jason Carnahan, and all of them guys. And Scott McLean has been a big help as well. And then obviously King Racing and Andrew and Rolly and Judy have been big supporters of mine. And also Andrew's been great to push me. I mean, you see what we've accomplished. He don't settle. There is no good enough. And it's just continuous, improvement. And to have that kind of a guide and guy to push you has been great. And then GS Racing, Eastern Powder Coating, Celtic Air Services, and Axe Air, H&B Car Sales, Paul Gould. There's a lot of guys also that have helped. So
I know you said you were going to spend the money on car parts, but with all that money you won, you took the girlfriend out on a nice date, right?
Actually, she races herself. She races go-karts and is quite successful at them. And she flew out, Christ, what time is it now? She flew out an hour ago to Quebec to race up there. So and then, or not go back to Montreal Blanc to race. And anyways, she's on her way up there. So obviously the best luck to her this weekend. But I didn't get a chance to go, no. But when she comes back, I will.
Perfect. I'll throw it to you, Denver, here quickly before we wrap it up with Cory. I got one more question, though, Cory. You're not racing the Tourmont Cat 150. Let's throw away the King Cat for a moment. Who do you think is going to get the big win this weekend?
Craig Sonwit.
I thought I told you to get rid of the King Cat.
There is no, he's on a mission, especially after the last weekend. He's determined, and he's on a roll too. He's quite confident with his car, and obviously he won the last race there. So if you bet against him, you'd be silly.
Anything for Mr. Cory here, Denver?
Well, Cory, just one last congratulations on the big win. It was a phenomenal race, and dominance. How you can't describe it anywhere other way. Just your dominance.
Yeah, no, and that was amazing for us and the team and everybody around me and everybody that's put effort into me and all that has been amazing, and I can't thank them enough, and it's been great to achieve this for them.
I will say you must be an early favorite for the Tim's Corner Motorsports Power Performer Award for 2021.
Can I say something after too?
Of course.
So like you're dominant in real life. Can you stay away from iRacing this winter?
I don't know about that. That's the thing that us and the guys do. Between me and Danny and Brad and Craig and Andre, that's kind of our thing. We get on iRacing through the winter, so it keeps me sharp, I think.
Well,
so
that's 6 spots I'm losing right there. So thanks for that, guys.
I also gotta say a major props to my guys of Danny, Craig, and Brad of this year with My Legend program. I am incredibly proud of what they're accomplishing driving the cars, and to see the effort between me and Scott McLean and my dad to put into their cars and the setups and the parts and everything that goes on them. They've been doing phenomenal, and everybody's taken notice, and it's been great for us. Obviously the slack is frustrating because it'd be great for people to focus on their own stuff, but it's been I don't know how to word that. It's a compliment for us to have everybody get taken notice.
You're a busy man, Cory. Congratulations again on your big 250 win. Enjoy. Well, I'm sure you're not gonna have a weekend off. You're gonna be doing 1,001 other things, but we'll see you at the Mike Stevens weekend coming up in a few weeks.
Thank you very much. Look forward to being there, and thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you. That's Cory Hall, the Remax 250 winner. Tim, I don't know how to boot people out of the call. I've never done this, but big thanks to Cory again.
Well, you actually don't have to boot him out of the call. That's probably the wrong way to say things. Listen, I give you guys the reins for one night and you screw it up. But anyways, Cory, congratulations again on the 250 win. That was awesome. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, guys.
Speed Weekend 2021. By the way, if you want to see Cory Hall win again, you can do so, Denver, at timscorner.tv.
That's right, Tim. And you can see more than just that. You can see Dave Oblinus winning in a modified. You can see Alex Oblinus winning the sportsman race. You can see so much, all of the action from Speed Weekend 2021 on timscorner.tv. 3 days of racing. That's a pretty good deal, Tim. 3 days of racing, and that 3 phenomenal days of racing at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great show put on by all the divisions from Friday all the way to Sunday. So head over, grab your subscription. Easiest way to do it, because you get to see the whole video library of what we've done over the last couple of seasons and what's to come. And speaking of what's to come, not available on the subscription, but available with your live pass, is Car Star Night. It's round number 9 of the Car Star Weekly Racing Series at Scotia Speed World. Season has been extended, Dylan. We've got 4 more weeks to come on Friday nights, including this weekend, Friday night at 7.
A lot of racing. There has been a lot of racing. We had a lot of racing on the weekend, and it continues. But looking back in the rear mirror, We had a fantastic street stock race with the D. Gillespie and Sons Trucking 100, and the big winner at the end of it all, yellow flags and all, from the front to the back up to the front, the flying Frenchman Michael Cormier got the big win, and we've got Michael here in TCM Live. Michael, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Michael, congratulations on the big win, and what a race. You certainly didn't have an easy Sunday drive for that one, right?
No. We went out and practiced, and obviously the 53 wasn't in the equation back then, and I think last practice we were 2/10 quicker in the field, and we were just trying out stuff, and we're like, well, we got good track position to start off in the heat race, so hopefully we can win the heat race and just stay up front, and obviously wasn't the case.
Yeah, we'll go through this race. In fact, let's kind of rewind for the whole speed weekend. You did a little Legends racing on Saturday with the Maritime League of Legends. How did you find it with the 68 car in the Legends field?
It wasn't bad. I mean, we've been working hard on the 68. Scott and Cory especially have been putting a lot of time into it. Our car, we started off the year, we were fine. Then it seemed like I don't know. We don't know what happened. The car was just terrible. Like, you could see it on the track where the right front tire was just vibrating going through the corners, and it just was just wrong. And anyway, I think Scott, he put a lot of time into this and thought, and he found the problem finally that we were looking for, and it finally came all together at 660. We were third or fourth fastest all day, and with a 1250 motor to compete with all those guys that have so much money in the legend racing and put so much time into it, obviously Craig and Danny, they're committed 100% to this, and they stay with Cory, and they'll work with Cory and stuff like that, which that's great. But I mean, we have Scott, and we bring it over for a setup, and then we were back out of there. We're not there working on the car. We're not putting a whole bunch of effort in it, and I get a lot of Cory keeps at us saying, we don't put enough time and effort in the legend car, but with our budget, it's hard to do. We already have 2 cars to focus on, and obviously I do other racing for other people, and and finally at 660, it all came together. We were fast. It's just I made a few mistakes, and then coming back up through the field, it took a while, and we almost got lapped. But that just shows how strong CHR cars are.
We come to Sunday for the street stock race. You're up in front. You and Luke McLaughlin, you guys were putting on a show for all the fans. It was like you were glued to each other. You just couldn't break free. Did you find that middle line a little better for you? You guys were flip-flopping, crisscrossing occasionally. What worked best for you in the first part of the race?
Well, at first, the car was really good. I was just basically half throttle, just kind of easing my way through the turns, not wasting tires or brakes. And then obviously that caution came out, and the 53 I think was at second at that time, and he almost got me on the outside, caught me off guard a little bit. But then we were fine. We got out, we cleared him by probably quarter straight or something like that, and then I made one big mistake because there's a big hole going into both turns really, and I washed up, he got inside, and then took it away, and he was racing hard for it, so I had to really work.
Yeah, racing hard. I mean, that's, to put it lightly, you guys were putting on some really good racing. A little bit of contact earlier on. I thought your whole bumper was coming off. What exactly happened there? Did he maybe just kind of close up on you a little bit, or you're both going for the same real estate?
Yeah, I go for the later option. I'm not really sure how to describe it. From my view, I was just trying to hold my line, and then what happened. And we always seem to be in the middle of those type of situations. But no, I mean, me and Luke have raced for a long time. I think we'll be fine. It's just it was one of those deals where we're both racing hard. It's a big race that Luke came back in the street stock class, and obviously he wants to win for someone that he's doing some work for, and we want to win as well, because the only 2 races that I could think of that really mean anything to us that we didn't win was Speed Weekend and the Miramichi 100 that's coming up at the end of the year. And we we went into the event, we were so confident. We just seeing that 53 go by me, it was like, oh my god, I gotta get going. And finally, I got to push the car, and no, it just, we were both pushing hard, and I think we just got into a mess. And then obviously afterwards, I got back into him a little bit, but that was kind of a racing deal, and then ended up losing the regular tire.
So how was your race after both you and Luke started at the back? That was about halfway through, where on the front stretch, spin out, whatever, you both go back to the field. Then you separate from each other a bit, and you weave your way through, eventually getting up near Tristan Harris and Riley Goodwin. And by the end, you and Riley Goodwin were putting on a little show for the fans. How was the back end of the 100 lap race?
Well, I guess to put it together the best way possible would be probably to say, it was rough, but it was give and take. As soon as there was a hole opening up, you had to go for it, because these cars were not handling that great, and neither were ours. We were holding on as much as we could, and the track is just it's kind of gone away from us in those classes where the bumps are, and I think it's making for great racing, but for us drivers, we got to work that little bit extra harder to try to avoid the bumps, and it's hard when you're side by side. But no, there's a lot of strong cars there, especially that built versus crate difference. Like the builts will come off the corners, and with a crate you got to be straight to come off, and then you can see the difference where we have to hustle coming off the corners and keep it straight, and then they're just they just got to make sure that they get on the throttle properly and come off right. And it just, the whole day was kind of awkward. It was odd. Everyone started off slow, and then we all went fast, and we all went back slow, and it was just, every car had problems at that point. It's 100 laps at 660, where they're typically used to a 35 lap feature as well. So no, I think everyone did a great job. They say it looked like a demo derby out there, but as much as the cars were all over the place, everyone did a really good job keeping off each other.
At one point, Michael, in the race, from what I observed from the tower, and then Jesse Thompson, who was announcing on Friday at SpeedWeekend, he kind of made the connection to me. In the Modify race earlier, there was a couple cars that were leaking gas. Well, for example, Rick Cashel, I was seeing his car almost completely sideways coming out of the turns. A few drivers, it looked like they were finding turn 4 slippery. Were you finding that as well?
Not really. I mean, my car was pretty good up until me and Luke got together, and I think it might have knocked a toe to the car. We're gonna obviously check that this weekend, but no, I mean, I was fine until we got a little bit of contact in the car. We just felt a little bit off afterwards, but I think the biggest thing was, I think there was someone that was leaking something out of their rear end or something. I could smell something. I wasn't sure. Obviously at the beginning, they're saying they smelled fuel, and I think that was probably from the big loads they put on the track right before us. But no, I mean, the track was just off a little bit going on entry, especially in a street stock where you have 3,500 pounds trying to get around a turn that you're going 70, 85 mile an hour going in the corner. It's pretty hard to get through there.
But at the end of it all, the 68 walks away with the win. How did it feel, Michael, to win on Speed Weekend in the street stock division?
Oh, it was awesome. As a kid, I would always go up there, and I would love the whole atmosphere of the weekend. You go there, you got the corn boil, and everyone's hanging out. There's a concert, and obviously it represents one of the biggest weekends in racing, honestly. And to come out on top on that specific weekend, it was awesome. I think the best way to put it all together would be that you look at Cory, for example. He's not someone that really gets too excited, and he couldn't even describe the feeling of winning the 250, and because it's such a prestigious race. And then the support classes are exact same. The street stock or sportsman race, they had their firecracker that weekend, which was probably one of the biggest sportsman races for a long time. They see up to 30 cars sometimes that show up, and they put on a heck of a show. And street stocks are nothing less. It was a 100 lapper, and we're all struggling with old used 890s because of the whole ordeal of not getting tires. And it was just it was awesome to come out on top for sure.
Michael Cormier, the winner of the Street Stock 100 at Speed Weekend on Sunday. I'm all messed up, Denver, because of the days of the week, but he's here for a bit. If you have a question for Michael, you can leave it on social media. Brandon Campbell will get to it. Denver, you have got a big street stock race coming up in Miramichi. I'm sure you've got a bunch of questions for Michael here.
I do, and as Michael mentioned, that's a race on his bucket list. But I actually want to go back to Speedweekend first. Michael, you were a little busy working on a pro stock car, I believe. When you had time between a Legends and a street stock and everything else, Wayne Smith back in a pro stock. How was that?
Oh, that was awesome. He's quite a guy to be around, especially when he's going into a pro stock, because the week of leading up to the 250, he'd be the first one up in the morning. He'd be the first one on the car, and then he's just vibrating all week. And he's so excited. He just wants to get in the car and go race, and that's awesome. He's over 50 years old, and he's still got that mentality of a little kid. That's getting into racing, and it's awesome to be a part of that. And obviously, you learn a whole lot from Wayne. He has a way of feeling the car that's just, it's natural to him at this point. He just knows exactly what's going on with the car as soon as it happens. And he showed speed for an old car that he traded straight up for street stock. The old man still got it.
With Speedway 660, you have now won the last 3 big events at that track, dating back to the Ricky Bobby 150, the Urquhart Construction 100, and now Speed Weekend. For a while, you would be knocking on the door at 660, so close to a win. To be on a run like this, winning all these big races, what did you figure out about that track that makes you so good there now?
I think the biggest thing is coming out of a Bando car obviously helps out a lot, because we work on momentum a lot, and Speedway 660 over the years has also become a track where there's multiple lines you can race now. It's not just an inside lane track anymore, and you got to be a lot more specific to where you have to run, and that seems to be an advantage of mine, where I can just find the fast line on any given day on any racetrack. And also, my uncle and Doug White, Neil Crawford, just everyone that helps, Lonnie Somerville Racing, obviously, have helped us a lot over the years. And it all came together. We have one fast piece, and then obviously you build off that. As soon as you have a good car one day, then you got a pretty good basic setup to start off with.
So while you've had the success at 660 this year, and Petty's been a track you've dominated at the past, but this year it just seems like you won the season opener at Petty, but then you were second to Evan Lane, second to Mike Weigel, second to Brad McLean. There's 2 big races coming up at Petty. I think it's a 50-lapper this weekend, and then obviously the Mike Stevens Memorial. What do you got to do at Petty to find yourself back in victory lane in the month of September?
Oh God, I honestly don't know. These guys have got it figured out. Obviously, we were on a 5-race win streak or something like that. I think we were just a little bit overconfident going into races. I felt the car was good. It was, just going all right. And obviously, they had better long run cars, which is surprising because it seems to be our dominant aspect in that street stock car. But you look back at the people that won those races. Evan Lane, he's got Bob and Ron working behind him, and they're doing an awesome job. And that old truck, they brought that thing back to life. It's been doing very well over the last few weeks. And you look at Mike Weigel, he put a really nice car together, and they're working hard at it every week. He always comes by, and he's one of those guys that'll ask for any type of advice on a given day, and we'll give it to anybody that wants to come around and see what's up. We're good people, even though on the track it looks a little bit different. But and then obviously Brad, he's been one of the best racers in Atlantic Canada over the last decade, and we're very fortunate to even finish second to these guys. And Pay Raceway is one of those tracks that it can be an off day or not. A good day depending on weather or track surface or anything. It just, that little track for some reason has this dark magic of some sort that on one day your car might just be way off out of nowhere. And you don't know why, you can't figure it out, and then the next day it'll be the best car ever. And we just haven't really figured that out this year. We had a win earlier on the year, which I believe we had a third place car that day, but we still won. And on the rest of the days, we had a second place car and we ended up finishing second.
Let's talk this weekend. Is it going to be double duty, triple duty? Are we going to see the Sportsman, Legend, Street Stock?
I'm not sure if the registration list has come out yet for the Pro Stocks, but I'll just spoil it now. I think we're going to make our Pro Stock debut. Wayne let us put that together.
What is going on tonight?
What is going on? Sorry to interrupt, Michael. So when Cory was on, I don't know if you heard, but he told us that Jonathan Hicken is racing in the Mike Stevens Memorial. So now you're hopping behind the wheel of a Pro Stock. What's the deal with that? I'm assuming it's the one that Wayne just got, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Me, my uncle, and Wayne have been putting time into it, and Wayne's been really good to us, and we've been learning from him. And he said that he thought that I could wheel a Pro Stock car, so put it to test this weekend. Obviously, we got a bet where I can't stall the car so many times because he stalled it 4 times at Speed Weekend, so my goal is 3. But no, it's gonna be a good experience. I don't plan on running, with Cory or Hicken or anything like that, but hopefully I can keep 4 wheels on it and all the fenders on it, and it'll be I think I'll race the Street Stock Saturday or Friday, and then the Pro Stock Saturday, I believe. So we'll see how it goes.
Folks, this is why you got to tune in every week on Tim's Corner Live, because you just never know what's going to happen. Dylan, 2 big pieces of breaking news. Like, what a crazy night already. And of course, the night Tim takes off.
I was just going to say, the night Tim decides to drink wine and write, he's missing out.
He's got lots to write about now.
Listen, I'm here writing. I'm actually being productive, but you guys are doing a great job. I'm going to sit here more often.
Good. Brandon, we'll put Brandon to work here. Brandon, I know there's a few questions here for Michael and potentially more since he just dropped that bombshell on us.
Yeah, well, he just kind of turned the show upside down, kind of like Cory did. But our friend Mike James is here. He actually told Dylan he's got a big bottle of water. But we see that wherever you go, so.
Got to stay hydrated, Mike. You can't cramp up.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Michael knows.
Yeah, exactly. And Michael's actually telling this story in PEI a few weeks ago about the time he went over to Newfoundland with Michael Neary and beat his win streak of how many times in the Legend car?
Oh, I think it was like 17. I think that was the number, something like that.
Yeah, and now his grandfather doesn't add you on the card list, I heard. So, but we know you're moving into a Pro Stock in a couple weeks. You race the Legend. But speaking just for Street Stocks right now, we've seen you race with Mike Weigel, Evan Lane, Logan Power, all these guys, and Jeff McInnes when he was on the show said you're the class act. Everyone wants to beat you. But who would you say your biggest competitor is?
That's a tough one. It depends. I mean, on a daily basis, I have to say probably back in the day, it was obviously Logan. We went back and forth a lot, and we raced really hard, week in and week out. And it always seemed like we had a magnet stuck to each other, and we were always 1 and 2. We had to come from the back then as well with the rules and stuff. And then over the last few years, it's been me and Brad pretty much stuck right next to each other, and and then it creates these little rivalries, and it makes it a little bit interesting, but at the same time you want to get away from that. And I think my most fun in Street Stock was when Wayne Smith got in the car, and for 150 laps next to that crazy old man, I mean, it's something else, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. And as we mentioned his name, Jeff McInnes just typed a really big paragraph, but I kind of summarized it. So he just said, he got to meet you and Earl a bit more this summer, and he says you're just a class act the whole way through. Loves racing against you. Hopefully he'll race against you one more time this year. I'm not sure if that'll be Petty or Miramichi or Shediac, but it'll happen somewhere. And he says all the best in the upcoming races. So we're talking. Go ahead. Yep.
Jeff is he's no lack of a driver either. He won the last or the race leading up to their big race on the island, and he made me look pretty bad there in the second race as well. He just passed me like I was a sitting duck, and I think given give him 20 more laps, and he could have maybe had something for 37. But they've been working hard, him and Mike and the whole crew. And I never really met Jeff beforehand. I already raced against him in Miramichi before, and I knew he was a hard competitor. He had the rear end stuck right out first time I seen him, and he was right up against the wall. And I thought he was a little bit of a maniac out there at first, but he was just wheeling that thing. And then come to meet him at PI, and the guy is just in it for racing, enjoys it. He doesn't really get too frustrated. His motor mount came off in the car, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just put a ratchet strap on it," all casual, and go back out there and race. And then he won with that ratchet strap on it. So he's what racing should be, I guess. And we've gone far from that. And we got to get back to the way they used to race, obviously.
That ratchet strap's still in his trophy case, right? He showed us a few weeks ago.
He didn't tell me that, but I don't doubt it. That's for sure.
It's still there. But we're talking about the positive stuff. And I know Denver mentioned earlier, you've had some tough luck at Speedway 660 before. And I know Speed Weekend last year wasn't very good for you. But Brent says, what is the worst wreck you've ever had?
Worst wreck ever had? Well, in the Bando car at Petty Raceway, I back in 2016 or 2015, we had the right front spindle break where the weld goes on it, and came off the lip and turned 4 at Petty and hit the concrete wall with my roof. I'm not sure what happened. All I know is I came out of the car and was 4 wheels on the ground. And what happened after that? There was all I can tell you is that it was like kind of a blur, and I just remember being in the ambulance after that, and then someone was panicking, saying that I couldn't race, and that for a concussion protocol they weren't gonna let me back on the track, blah blah blah. And meanwhile, my uncle's over there putting duct tape all the way around the car and putting the right front back together. So that's probably one of my hardest hits. And obviously, in the street stock, there was that incident with Chris Hanley, and he was always a really tough competitor, and would bring his very best every weekend. And obviously, the Ricky Bobby is going to be in his memory as well. And that was just a really bad incident where we got together, and then there was a big pile up of cars, and I just seemed to be in the middle of it. It was just, they were just taking turns clobbering me going by, so that was a pretty hard one as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember that one too, because I was there, and I remember seeing the car come in the pits completely destroyed, and of course Earl gets the thing back on the track somehow.
Oh yeah, well Oblinius has lent us a radiator, and they put a bunch of duct tape on her, and it wasn't handling the best, but I think we came back up through. We were a straightaway behind the guys when we came on the track, and we ended up passing up to 5th, but we were a lap down at that point, so didn't really matter. But it was still cool to have a car like a modified out there and make our way up to basically 5th if we were on the lead lap.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's your brother that races now.
Yeah, that would be him.
What kind of advice do you give him?
I don't know if it's as much advice as just trying to tell him where he should run, and just let him know sort of the basics of racing, because you can't teach someone a certain way of racing. Everyone has a different way of doing it, and see, for me, I would be the type of kid that would let everyone by, and I was just trying to catch everyone. I didn't want to race anyone. I was kind of shy. I didn't want to get in anyone's way. It was always something where I was just that shy kid growing up, and he's shy, but on the racetrack he's quite the little daredevil. So no, he's doing fine. He really tries. For example, there was someone that was telling me that he came off the track and ran in the trailer full speed, and we were like, what's going on? And anyway, he came out of the car and took off the helmet, and he was all excited, pumped, screaming out loud. He said, I hit the chip. So that was the first time hitting the rev limiter. He was just so excited. But no, he has a great future ahead of him if he wants to keep racing. I'm not sure if this is his main priority, but he enjoys it and he has fun with it. So I think that's the main goal, especially at that age.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you and Earl have your knowledge of bandos. You spent a few years in it, and you guys adapt quickly to everything. So maybe when you're in the pro stock full time, he'll take the street stock over, or
Well,
no, or
I don't
no.
know. We'll see where it all ends up. I'm not sure if I'll ever really have a full-time pro stock ride, but obviously, since I was young, I would always say, my goal was to be a full-time pro stock competitor. But we'll see. It takes a lot of funding to keep up with those things. I might just end up in a sportsman car, or might stay in street stock. I'm not sure yet, but wherever I go, obviously, if my brother wants to keep racing and he's interested and wants to have that drive for success, we won't mind to help him out. If someone wants to race and have fun and has that, that same, I guess, mood or way of going into racing and just enjoying it and really keeping them out of trouble and all that, we'll support it 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we see the Roush Fenway suit. Maybe they'll be calling you soon.
Well, I don't know about that, but if they're calling anyone, they should be calling Cory. But no, I think we do well for what we have, and obviously, we try our hardest every week.
For sure. That's all for now. Denver and Dylan, maybe you guys have something else?
Yeah, we'll brew up a few more questions here for Michael, and he's hanging around for a few more minutes, folks. If you got a question for one of the best street stock racers in Atlantic, Canada at the moment, Michael, September's a pretty busy month racing-wise here in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and especially with the street stocks in New Brunswick. Aside from your pro stock endeavor, which you're going to be diving into soon, what's the schedule look like for Michael Cormier for the rest of September and then into October?
So I believe we'll be running this weekend at Petty, and then the next weekend is the Mike Stevens. So we'll be running a pro or a street stock in the Legend car next weekend. We'll be running the street stock and the pro stock on Mike Stevens weekend, and then I believe the weekend after that is that Miramichi, Denver.
Ricky Bobby first.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby. Then whichever one comes first would be that one.
Then
Then
it's
street stock, and then
Miramichi
the one
after.
And yeah, and then after that, probably sportsman car at Shediac, and hopefully my brother gets to run Shediac in the Bando car as well. So yeah, I think that's for what we got for the rest of the year, and it's coming to close. It's kind of sad to see it come to an end so fast, but you look at it that way. But there's also a month left to racing, and after that, obviously, racing won't be over. We'll be racing iRacing or something, right, Brandon?
No comment, I think, from Brandon. I think he rage quit, like he rage quits in iRacing.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, but you said it, Michael. I mean, it's a pretty busy month, and it is sad that we're drawing to an end here. But it's not just like one race left and it's done. Yeah, you've got this weekend, the features only at Petty. Then you've got the Mike Stevens weekend, Ricky Bobby, giant race at 660, the very best fall shootout. You want to go for that big? Was it Denver 1,000-foot trophy or 10-foot trophy?
Barry told me it's going to be 7 feet 10 inches, maybe something like that. Just shy of 8 feet.
Okay. But going, Michael, from Petty to 660 and then up to Miramichi, how do you change your driving style? Miramichi, it's pretty rough track there.
Yeah, so I mean, Shediac, the banks kind of carry you around the racetrack, and you just got to be up on the wheel coming off the corners because it's a little bit of a loose track coming off. But 660 is more of a flat, big track. You just got to carry momentum and try to keep it straight as much as you can. And then you go to Miramichi, and obviously I haven't figured it out because I haven't won there yet, the street stock. But I think it's just pure driver, going in the corner and trying to make a turn as much as you can and make that early apex so you can come off on the corner. And it's just one of those tracks that, tires burn off quick, and you just got to be ready for it as a driver and see that, that you don't hit that wall coming out of the corner because that comes up fast as well. But, they all have a different personality, and at the same time, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but we go to racetracks and we have the same setup everywhere we go. So, we're just doing small adjustments every time we go to another racetrack, and that just shows how strong I think that the Lonnie Somerville setups are.
Michael, this has been a great conversation. We got to wrap it up because we got a couple of Goodwins waiting in our lobby here, and they want to talk about their grudge match coming up at Speedway Miramichi and everything. But just quickly, Michael, can you give a shout out to your supporters and the family and who helps you get these big wins like you just had on Sunday?
Oh, for sure. We have so many people that help us, and they're great people. And we have to start off with Dodge, Monte Cristo Dodge. They've been with us for years now, ever since 2012. And Crossroads Cycles, which was a newer sponsor, they've been sponsoring the tour as well. They've been awesome. Lawson's Moncton, they were a new sponsor this year. Post-X Screw Piles, Sports Rock, my grandmother, Vienno Mix Farm, Sean's Tire and Auto, obviously Lonnie Somerville Racing, CHR, Scott Hall, Doug White, Neil Crawford, my uncle, my aunt, my entire family, and obviously all those fans that are out there. If it wasn't for the fans, and we don't preach this enough that we need people at the racetrack to be able to do what we love, and they've been awesome over the years. I think that all the stands have been full pretty much all year, and they're doing awesome this year.
I don't think we could have said it better. What do you got in Denver?
I want to put Michael on the spot. Riley or Bob, who wins the grudge match?
Oof. It all depends what kind of cars guys got geared up for them.
They are the exact same Chevrolet Impalas.
Chevrolet Impalas. Well, if they're strong enough to withstand the pure power of Bob Goodwin, I would say he'd have the win. But if not, I think Riley gets away with it.
Interesting.
We're going to have both of them coming up here. Michael, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck with the races this weekend. And I guess good luck being a rookie in Pro Stocks in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll definitely need it.
That's Michael Cormier, driver of the 68, and in a couple of weeks, the driver of the 44 Oval Outlaw Racing Pro Stock 44. We've got two of the winners from Speed Weekend Denver. Tim, are we going into picks, or are we doing this grudge match thing first?
Paul has the grudge match stuff on the screen, so
we're going grudge.
Let's go to that.
All right, Denver, I'm going to let you lead this one here because you're you're like the wrestling promoter making posters and everything. Go for it.
Well, we like to have some fun, and the Goodwin family has a rich racing history at Speedway Miramichi, multiple championships within the family, and we have father and son duo who, from an idea spawned on this very show back in March or May, something like that, have willingly agreed to participate in the first of Barry's bright ideas, the grudge match. So we have Bob and Riley Goodwin. Bob is a former competitor at Speedway Miramichi, and Riley, his son, is a current street stock driver, fresh off a second place run at Speed Weekend on Sunday. Champion in waiting at Speedway 660 for the street stock division in 2021, provided he starts the Ricky Bobby race. He will win the championship. And he's a former podium finisher at the very best fall shootout. So I'd like to welcome our competitors. One's in the left wing, one's in the right wing, I guess. Bob and Riley, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to get right into it. Who's winning?
Who do you think? Probably Riley.
So, Bob, are you giving up already?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
No.
So, Riley, are you the favorite going into this?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm the favorite. There's a lot of people that like my crazy old man, but I don't know. It all depends, I guess, if you like Bob or if you like Riley. But we both got a lot of friends, and we're gonna have to wait and see till Saturday who's the favorite or who gets her.
So before we get into this, are you guys in the same house right now?
No.
Okay, so we're safe. We don't have to worry about the fight starting now.
No.
I'll get a phone call.
Not till Saturday. So folks are going to want to get their tickets and come to Speedway Miramichi on Saturday. How many laps are we doing? Barry hasn't said. Do you guys know how many laps this is going to be?
We'll do as many until he'll get tired. So
he'll get tired. So what's that? 5 laps, Riley?
3 probably. Whatever works.
So this grudge match, and so I'll start with you, Bob. Your family has a history at Speedway Miramichi. It's essentially the track you grew up at. Coming back to Miramichi, you're turning laps again. What's it mean to be part of this?
It's going to be different. Haven't been on the track since '93 in Miramichi. So it's changed quite a few hands, a lot of sunsets, a lot of laps around the place. Kind of looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty cool.
So is this
I'd like to thank Barry first and foremost, and you, Denver, and everybody at Speedway Miramichi for doing this. It's pretty awesome.
So is this going to be the first time you get to race against Riley, like in any form?
Well, no, we did race a go-kart in Florida, and I had his younger brother in with me, and he spun us on the caution lap in Florida. So they saved karma and payback. So he's getting
there. Is that how it is? Riley, can you confirm or deny this story? Is this true?
I told him he's gonna catch me first, but he's true because he just looked at me and told me, well, you gotta lap me at some point. So, and he's probably not wrong. He'd be the one to sit there and wait until I lapped him just to try and spin me out. But all I can tell him is good luck.
Well, he said he only wanted to be one lap. If it's only one lap, isn't that impossible to lap him?
Exactly, that's right.
So maybe we might have to look at that, making it only one lap. But for you, Riley, getting to be part of this, this is the first of this type event, and something Barry hopes that we can continue and get more people involved and bring more fans to the track. But what's it going to mean to be part of this first Grudge Match?
Oh, it's going to be awesome, really. I like changes and start new things. So, hopefully it does. Hopefully it interests more people and gets them into it. And I'm sure, hopefully there's a big crowd. I know it's me and the old man's face was plastered all over Facebook now for like 2 weeks. So by the sounds of it, there's going to be a lot of people coming over. So and that's good. It's good for Speedway Miramichi. It's good for the whole atmosphere over there.
I can confirm that the original post advertising the Grudge Match has reached 16,000 people so far. So lots of eyeballs, and I know there'll be lots of people. And for people who maybe can't make it to Speedway Miramichi, whether you're out of the province or whatnot, you will be able to watch live on Tim's Corner TV and be able to watch these two go at it on Saturday. But Riley, deviating away from the Grudge Matches a bit, you have some other business to take care of on Saturday. There's a 50-lap street stock race, and I know you want to get a win at Speedway Miramichi, something awful. There's the big fall shootout coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. Are you looking forward to that street stock race first?
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to come over. I mean, I haven't been over since the fall shootout last year, and I've had horrible luck there the last 2 years now, I think. But yeah, I can't wait to come over and hopefully get the car shook down and get a good setup underneath of us to hook her up for the 100 lap there in a couple weeks or a month.
It's going to be a big day on Saturday, and I'm not sure, Brandon, do we have anyone in the comments yet on Facebook? For those watching, if make sure you drop a comment and let us know who you think is going to win the Grudge Match. Maybe throw a little trash talk out there. Let's get these two riled up to put on a show come Saturday. But Brandon, what do you got so far?
Well, this kind of goes into what I have to say. So Michael asks if they can work on their cars, and if they are, I think cheating Bob Goodwin gets the nod. And then one of my longtime friends, Buddy Munn, says Bob's already got more left side.
Ooh.
He's looking for a drive over.
So this goes into what I have to say. Bob probably doesn't remember it. I hardly remember it. But walking through the campground Sunday night, you guys were saying something, and I looked and I said, well, Riley's the shirtless wonder. Do you have to take your shirt off for this too? And he said, nobody wants to see that.
No.
So does Riley have to put a shirt on?
Probably going to have to. It's going to be pretty cold, I would assume.
Yeah.
It was cold on Sunday too, and I said, well, you're wearing a shirt for once. And he goes, not under the suit.
I don't know how people can wear shirts under the suits. I don't know. I've only wore something under my suit once, and that was last year at the fall shootout. I think I was wearing my snowmobile suit under it because it had to been felt like mine's 10 over there.
Brent Patterson asks if you guys have any shirts, which Riley doesn't wear any, so I'm sure he has some he could give away.
We don't have any at the moment. I was actually just talking to my mom there on SpeedWeekend. We're looking to do a order probably in the spring for next season now. We're a little late, but yeah, be sure to message one of us or something next year. I'm sure we will.
I think that's all we. Oh, Randy Titus said he'd love to be there, but he's gonna be at Petty. So Denver, where can he watch it again?
Jim's Corner TV. It will
There
be
you
live.
go.
And if you can't watch live because Petty and Miramichi are racing at the same time, you can watch it on demand. So you're going to want to go back and see how this grudge match goes. Dylan, before I get back into the grudge match, what do you got for Riley and Bob?
Well, are you guys driving with each other, and who's walking home after the race?
No, we're taking two separate vehicles on purpose. I'm taking my street stock, and he's taking his own car.
I love the idea. Just this has been brewing since the winter months, and finally seeing this grudge match is pretty cool. But Riley, I just want to turn it back a little bit. Congratulations on your podium finish at Speed Weekend. That was a fun race, and we were talking with Michael a little earlier about his up and down race. You and Tristan Harris kind of kept the same position. You were hovering around second, third place the entire time. You get the lead for a little bit. You finished second. How was the race overall for you?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, we stayed up in I think the furthest back we fell was like fifth place. We stayed in the top five for most of the race. Car was decent, I guess. Definitely wasn't on its full potential, but yeah, me and Tristan, we had a great battle, running side by side for mostly the whole race, and um, took the lead there for a bit. And like I said, the car just Michael had obviously a better car than I did. I couldn't keep it down coming out of the corners, but all in all, it was a great race. I mean, I had fun all weekend, and I can't complain with coming home in second place.
So what did you think? You're running third, fourth position, battling with Tristan, and you see the 53 going into the infield in front of Michael. No fault cautions. They both go to the back. What are your immediate thoughts?
Well, I knew I was in third around Tristan at the times, and I was just I seen them two racing side by side, and I felt like I was slowly catching them. And I seen that happen. I was like, oh crap. I was like, I was wishing it was like lap 75, but of course we're on like lap 25. But no, I was like, frig. I mean, nothing against Michael and Luke, but if anyone in that situation would be like, friggin' right, we're on the pole now. So yeah, I was pumped after like getting to start up front, but no, it was a fun race, and like I said, it's a crappy deal for them, but if it was anyone else, I'm sure they would have felt the same way sitting in my shoes.
How does the mentality with your race go where you're running in third? You're kind of hoping something happens with second and third, and then it does. That just completely changed everything of, oh, well, now I'm the leader.
Yeah. Well, and then we got going, and I was like, oh, I looked in my mirror a couple times, and there was no one there for a while, and I was like, oh, no cautions, no cautions. And sure enough, we got a caution. And I looked in my mirror, and I knew Michael and Luke were going to be coming back up to the field. They both had rocket of race cars, and but so then when I looked in my mirror after that caution, I seen that big blue dog back there. I was like, crap. I said, I know he's coming, but we managed to hold him off for a couple laps, like I said. But he had a good car, and we couldn't do her. We raced side by side there for a couple laps, but he ended up getting around us and taking the win. But it is what it is. We'll try and be back better for. I think the next time I'll be racing against him will be the Ricky Bobby. So
let's go from the track to outside the track. Bob, what do you think of all that? When Michael and Luke get tangled up, Riley gets the lead, and then Michael chews his way right back to the field.
The kid can wheel a car. He brings a good piece every week. Earl, I don't know. They work endless hours on it, and their finishes are showing that the time they do put in on it. They're a good team. They're hard to beat.
Riley, Michael mentioned that he hardly changes that 68 street stock between Petty, between 660, between Miramichi. Are you kind of in the same boat there, or do you have to really wrench on it between tracks?
No, Dylan. Like I said, me and Michael both have the awesome LSR setups there, Lonnie Summer Racing. If it wasn't for him, our cars wouldn't be at the front. That man knows more than we all will ever know. He's a good guy, loves to help local racers out, and so yeah, we're the same as Michael for the most part. Might put a little over bar in it here or there, or put a spring rubber in it here, but we don't change much. Like I don't change nothing from Miramichi to Petty to 660 or nowhere. So the Shediac, like it's all roughly the same besides maybe changing your stagger or something, like little adjustments like Michael had said earlier, but nothing too big.
Between those 4 tracks, Riley, which would you say is your favorite to bring that street stock to?
I really do like racing at Petty. I don't agree with some stuff, but I like racing. I love Petty's track itself. That's my favorite track. And then probably 660. I don't like Shediac, and I love going to Miramichi and stuff. I'm not a fan of driving on the track just because I don't know how to drive around it. I've been there like 5 times now. My grandfather and father, who have been there all their life, try and tell me every time we go there to how to drive around that track, and I still don't know how to drive because I've never raced on a flat track like that before. So you definitely got to try and get the hang of it, because if not, well, you don't do good, like myself every time I go there. But no, I like going to Miramichi though, for the like all the people in the atmosphere there, and hopefully this weekend get a good feeling of it for the 100 lapper.
Bob, what's the secret for Miramichi for a street stock driver or a driver in any class? Maybe demo's a little different because they're wrecking each other.
The wall will keep you honest. You can't go on the beach when there's a cement wall around you. I don't know. Wheeler, put the wheel to her.
Brandon, you just sent me a message saying that the conversation's really brewing about the grudge match. What do you got quickly?
Well, Brent Roy asked Bobby, when are you going to put roof rails on that car?
I forgot and I threw them out, Brent. You should make me another set off your cheating pro stock and I can use it.
And then our good buddy Scott Hall goes, hey, Bob, do you stand still when Riley is racing or pace the fence?
I pace the fence, probably pace right from turn 5 to turns 3 and 4.
I thought this friendly banter needed to be shown a little bit, but that's all we got for now.
It's good though, Denver. We're getting the fans talking about this grudge match race. Really a first of its kind. You boys aren't going to be going full days of thunder, eh? Where you're completely wrecking each other on the beach.
I hope not, because I got to get up and go to work.
Well, we'll just go with what he thinks then.
So, okay, let's say you guys, and I might add, Barry is not in the comments tonight, which is disappointing, but he is busy preparing the cars, which both are Chevrolet Impalas. They're supposed to be virtually identical. So say they're not?
Not when you get a hold of them, they're not.
So, Bob, what do you got up your sleeve? They call you cheating Bob Goodwin. What do you got playing?
Some insides. I've got messages from people. Setups. People are sending me setups. This is what you should do for Miramichi in a bomber car. And I'm thinking, dude, give her.
So how much time are you going to have? So you guys have a street stock, but Riley, are you going to lose your crew chief on Saturday? Because he's going to be busy trying to set up his grudge match car?
Oh, probably, but I'm sure me and Buddy Monk can handle it. That'd be all right. I'll let him work on it starting now if he wants, and I'll still go out there and spank him.
Oh, those are fighting words, are they?
That's it.
So I heard
lost his crew chief and his uncle. We're done.
So Bob, I heard that you've been trying to maybe pay off Barry to make some changes to the cars for you.
So I approached Barry. I didn't try to pay him off. I approached Barry on Sunday evening, I believe, or Saturday evening, and I asked him if there was any chance he could take one spark plug wire off of Riley's car. And he said, not a chance. I tried.
That's all you can do. So we have to try to figure something out. There's one detail to this race that, well, besides the amount of laps that I'm not sure of, and that's how we're going to pick the cars, because there's 2 cars. They're supposed to be evenly matched, but who's going to get first choice? Do we have to go with age or what?
Well,
I feel bad for him. I'll let him pick first.
Ooh,
he got no choice.
Okay, so we have to get to the meat of this race. If we get to the final lap, okay, and you guys are bumper to bumper, and the other one is leading, What's going to happen? What can fans expect?
We both
Carnage.
know. We both know what's gonna happen there.
Okay, so what if we wreck both the cars? What do we do then? Are we going to have to do a foot race like Talladega Night style, line
Yeah,
this
we
up on the
start
front
running.
stretch?
I
I'm
know I
done.
can beat him at that.
I'm fat and I'm old and I got asthma.
So Bob has to finish the race. Riley's hoping that they wreck both cars because that gives him the win by default.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. So we'll have to take note of that for Saturday. So I wish Barry was here to throw some, I guess, trash talk around. But Tim, what do you got for these two competitors or combatants for Saturday?
Oh, hey. Yeah, guys, good luck this weekend. I can't wait to watch it. I know me and Dylan, I believe you guys are running it during the demo, right, Denver?
We are running it somewhere in the middle of the demo events. That way their street stock race can be done and over with and car loaded up. And well, maybe Bob will be working on his car the whole time anyways, but we got to give Riley a chance to to get ready as well. So it'll be during the demo events.
So that's perfect because me and Dylan will be done at Riverside by the time you guys get done. We'll get 150 laps in caution free. We'll be all done. We'll be able to watch that deal. So looking forward into this season, is there any sort of prop bet going on between you guys that might entice this deal a little bit more?
No.
Not really, man. That's what it
It's
is.
for fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that on the line for Saturday. I want to ask you guys about the championship because we haven't really spoken a whole lot about it, but there's one show points race left. All these finish point races are complete for the season at Speedway 660. So as long as that car goes through tech at the Ricky Bobby 150, you guys are the BMR Auto Sales and Service Street Stocks champion for the season. So Riley, Bob, how important is that? Because I know you guys work hard on that race car to get it to the front every single week. You guys had a lot of great competition this season. How great is it to finally check that one off the bucket list to win a championship?
Oh, that's huge for me. The old man hates points racing, and I'll be honest, I loved the last 2 years not having a point race. Worrying about if it's not ready for that weekend, it is what it is. But I always said I wanted the championship in the street stock division before I ever moved up. I've got asked a lot if I ever did want to move up, but probably not. But yeah, no. We're gonna try and we're gonna show up. So we're gonna be there on our A game and try the best. And as long as I keep them old cheating hands of Bob Goodwin off it, so we don't get DQ'd or nothing stupid, we should get her.
So, Bob, are you going to do anything to that car to make sure it passes tech? Donnie gives it the A-okay?
Just gotta play with the gray areas.
Yes, play with
You guys
it.
all call me cheating. I call it gray areas.
It's not cheating until you get caught. You just got to play in them and just make sure you don't step over the line, right?
That's correct.
By the way, Denver, Brandon Campbell gets one night to do this, and he misses stuff. So
What did I miss?
Jeff McGinnis says he's so old that he's going to pick Bob. And then he also says he's throwing his name in the hat for the very best fall shootout on October 2nd. So we talked about pro stock guys coming back and racing the Mike Stevens race. I think that's the biggest news of the night. Jeff McGinnis is coming back to Miramichi.
That makes me excited for October 2nd.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping. Yeah, hopefully it is a huge turnout like it was. I think it was 2 years ago, Denver or something. There was like 25 cars or better, and that was awesome.
Absolutely. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see 20. Now, I got to ask this question to both of you, I guess. What do you do with a trophy that's nearly 8 feet high? How do you get it home, first of all, and then where do you put it?
Jammer my 26-foot enclosed trailer, and then worry about that when it comes home because I know it won't fit anywhere in the house because they're only, well, no, it would because they're 8-foot ceilings, but it'd be close. I know Justin, he still got his in his shop, and it's not far off the ceiling in his shop.
But Justin's a little bit shorter. That trophy was taller than him, and that one was only the 6-foot-tall trophy.
Yeah. I think Justin's only about 5 feet tall, but no. Yeah, no, I seen that's the same as Logan's last year when he got it. That's a big trophy. I don't know what I'd do with it, but I don't even care. As long as I get it, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
So Bob, you're not driving, but if that trophy, was to come to your house, where are you putting it?
Probably in the living room somewhere.
Right behind him, right there, and by that door, Denver.
Right there.
Yep.
Right in the front window.
Wherever Jennifer lets me put it, to be quite honest. It'll probably end up in the garage.
So, Bob, before I have one more question for you. Any chance we see you in a real race car again someday?
Oh man, I'd like to. Maybe a bucket list for me is I'd like to see myself and my dad and Riley, not per se in a real car, but kind of one of these deals. If I think that would be pretty cool, having 3 generations out on the track together. My dad's still got, he's probably in better health than I am, to be quite honest. So I think it would be pretty neat. As far as in a real race car, I just enjoy, obviously, drinking beer and working on it. And I'm happy and content pacing the track, like Scott said.
For sure. So we're going to get a last call on social media. We got to wrap up here in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. But Dylan, I'm going to throw it back to you before we throw it to Brandon, before I have final words with these 2 combatants. Dylan, anything else for the Goodwins?
What's the chances you guys keep demo racing after the grudge match? If the cars aren't completely beaten battered, do you take part in the figure 8 race, or do you take part in the kidney race or the demo finale?
Guaranteed. Well, I say that now, but I don't know. Them, they're crazy. All them people up there.
I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but I'm a chicken shit. I ain't doing it. Mm-mm.
I would think about it, but I don't know. I don't know.
Man,
I've watched the guy
they
take
got a
some
set.
You hear that, Denver? I got a set because I did those races.
No, you didn't. You attempted them. You didn't do them.
I guess that's a discussion for another time. Hey,
so.
Dylan?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll throw it back to you. I'm going to put my tail between my legs here.
So I think the point is what Brandon's trying to get out is that Dylan did 3 laps in the Dash for Cash?
More than I made this year.
And then I did 6 in the figure 8.
Okay, well, you did 6 in the figure 8. You got lapped twice, whatever it is. At least Brittany Hoyt did a full 10-lap powder puff race before she turfed it on the back straightaway.
That's more than I've done all year.
And that's an attempt. What you did is show up. Continue, boys.
You got show points.
Yeah, something like that.
So while we start to wrap up here, Riley and Bob, who do you have to thank both on the 77 Street Stock and everyone that makes it happen for you guys?
Go ahead, Riley.
We got, for number one, each other. If it wasn't for Dad, we wouldn't be there. And if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't be there. We've been at this now for 10 or 11 years between the 2 of us. It's been, for the majority, just the 2 of us. Till we moved up to Street Stock, we had some, my friend Buddy, and my Uncle Tom, and a couple other people there, here and there, that show up to the odd race. And but it's been the 4 of us, so I got to thank them 3 for helping me out every single weekend. All of our family that supports us every year, whether it's just messaging us or give us a little money to help out here and there, or just being there for us. Every little bit counts in the racing world. And our friends, definitely our sponsors. We got Bob Calhoun at Pub's Drive-Thru Bottle Exchange, Josh Arbo at AAA Automotive, Robert Curtis, Keller Williams, Sunrise Electrical, Big Daddy's Towing, Southside Diesel Service, Barry Moorcraft Trucking, E&D Construction, D. Gillespie and Sons Trucking Limited, Granite Industries, Snowstorm Racing, Kenny Snow and Brandon over there from the island, Lonnie Somerville Racing, W&R Gillespie, Tony Garvin, everyone. If it wasn't for all them guys right there, we wouldn't be driving around in circles and acting like the fools we do. So big thanks to all you guys.
I want to give you guys
Jack Wilkins.
And Jack Wilkins Signs. God, don't forget that.
I hear you might have forgotten him before once or twice, Riley.
Every time, if he don't say his name, he's listening for it. Don't you think if you can't see him down there at the track, he can still hear that PA system? He's waiting for you to say welcome signs because he knows you deckled about 95% of every car down there.
I'm going to give you guys the final words. Riley, you first. You're heading into a big weekend, heading into the end of the season, big race season. Final words heading into this weekend.
Go fast, turn left.
All right, Bob, how can you top that? You have the final say. Heading into the Grudge Match, it's been a great season for you guys. Some big races left, but a big show on Saturday of a different kind.
Yeah, I'm kind of really looking forward to it. And like I said, I can't say thank you enough to Speedway, Miramichi, Barry, and like I say yourself, for kind of doing this deal for us. It was kind of and crazy Tim Terry starting it all way back about 10 months ago. I thought you guys were all full of it, and then when the message came here about 8 weeks ago, I said, "Oh no, these guys are serious." Like I really thought you guys were just this was gonna go under the rug, and it was just gonna be a win. But anyways, I still got to try to find a helmet that's gonna fit this big head, and I don't even know, like, do you wear gloves? Or like my fire suit is my FR rated coveralls.
Listen, in a demo car, there is no requirement for anything other than a helmet and a seatbelt. So if you want to just go on the track like that, you do need to have a shirt on. I know that was a discussion earlier, but you don't need gloves, anything like that. You just got to put a helmet on and go fast.
But that's the thing. I still have to find that helmet.
So put out a call on Facebook. Bob Goodwin needs a helmet. So let's get him one for the Grudge Match on Saturday.
No, I think I've got one.
Brandon Campbell's head's pretty big. You should be able to fit into one of those. I heard he's showing up on Saturday.
Well, I'm probably going to do it. Dylan did show up, and that's about it.
Hey, man, at least my van started.
After my brother made it start.
Yeah, we know who's the better Campbell. Like,
can't make mine start.
I think we got to get these two split up. But anyways, Riley and Bob, thank you for joining us tonight. Riley, best of luck on Saturday and for the rest of the season with the big races. Congrats to you both on the championship, and we're looking forward to the Goodwin Grudge Match.
Thanks
Denver. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. That's Riley and Bob Goodwin, and you can see them Saturday at Speedway Miramichi in the Goodwin Grudge Match, and you can also watch live on Tim's Corner TV. And now, as we wrap up the show, it's time to talk fantasy points, and I don't have a lot to say after this past week because I am not impressed with the, I guess.
We can definitely talk about this.
I'm not. Listen, I should still have that as they crossed the finish line. I was still leading the points. That is.
Yeah, you were, and then you didn't. So
not impressed.
That's what we have. By the way, we did have 7 on the list. I believe the others' points have been donated to a charity of our choosing, which Paul has chosen. I think the Lumberjack Association of Connecticut. So that is why we only have 6 on our list. I've got the lead.
I want the points.
No, you don't get them. It's not the way that works. Meredith has closed in, so Denver, you've got some competition.
It'd be great if it wasn't for the fact that results changed. Not impressed about that for fantasy points. Not at all.
She won. She had Corey Hall. I had
the
Corey
results
Hall.
should be as you cross the finish line, in my honest opinion, for the fantasy points.
No, that's not how that works.
Hold up.
So it's not how that works.
I said Braxton was going to win the modified tour like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I said Dave
got
was going to
canceled,
win,
by the way.
But I said Dave was going to win this weekend. Dave won in Braxton's car. That's double points. I should be in the
Not
lead.
a chance.
No, it's not. It's not even close to how that works.
That's not even the right math, Brandon. That's not even close.
It's not even close to how that works.
I'm in first place, Paul. Fix the graphic, please.
That is not it.
Where did Cory Casagrande finish? Did I get any points this week?
The same place as Brent Roy.
You got the same amount of points that Denver did. 10-4.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So there's the points. Let's roll the next graphic. Mm-hmm. I screwed this one up, by the way, because Donald Chisholm's number is 21 this week because he's driving the cat car for kids. So I've got Donald Chisholm. Safe bet, I think. Riverside. There's no invert. There's no roulette wheel. I've got this.
That you know of.
Yeah, that we know of. Dylan, who do you have?
I'm going to pick the winner of the Wilson Equipment Twin 75s, Craig Slomwhite. He's getting it done. He's going to grow that point lead going towards the championship. We wrap it up at Scotia Speed World and back-to-back weekends. But he's getting it done this weekend at Riverside.
Okay, Denver, who do you have?
I have Greg Proud. Now, I was told that Greg Proud is kind of iffy on the entry list. And as you all know by this point, I am famous for picking people, and then they don't show up just because I picked them. So I do have a plan B, but we're not going to say his name because we don't want him to not show up either.
Greg Proud has some crops to take care of. Obviously, he is a farmer by trade, so if he can get those crops in, then he'll be with us.
He's got redemption from last September at Riverside.
Yes,
So-
absolutely he does. Brandon, who do you have?
Well, I picked Cole Butcher last week, and like Denver, he also did not show up. But Nicholas Noggle's going to show up because that's his place to go. He's going to win.
And Meredith doesn't have her pick in yet. I'm going to assume that low-hanging fruit, I'm thinking probably Cole Butcher is where she's going to go. Because I looked at the list earlier and I was like, nobody's picked Cole Butcher. Jared Butcher's going to be good. The full entry list is on timscorner.ca. Fans, let us know down below in the comments who you have to win the Toromont Cat 150 at Riverside Speedway coming up this Saturday in James River. We want to thank all of our marketing partners that help us put on this show as well, and all of our live shows here on Tim's Corner TV. And Denver, as you alluded to, we have at least 2 shows coming up this weekend. I say at least 2 because there may be one more to be announced coming up a little bit later on this week. But Scotia Speed World Friday night, Riverside, we're waiting on to hear. Speedway Miramichi coming up on Saturday as well, 4:00 start. You're going to want to see the Goodwin Grudge Match, the Street Stock Shakedown, the mini stocks are going to be great. You've got the demolition. It's all there.
Absolutely, Tim. We have we talked about all that. I think we have 20 bomber cars expected. Great field of demolition cars. It's going to be a great weekend, no matter where you are. And then, Riverside Saturday, Speedway Miramichi Saturday. There's also racing at Petty Saturday. And then Sunday's a big day. Dylan, you get to get a little dirty on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a big weekend. The 2 tracks were on the home announcer. So like Tim mentioned, Riverside Speedway. I just voiced the commercial for today's for the Toromont Cat 150 and IWK fundraiser for the Children's Hospital in Halifax, Henry's Auto Pro 75. The Breen family has some extra money, so big thank you to the Breen family. Lap 2, 22, and 66. These drivers have the chance to win a little extra money. So if you got a sportsman car and you're in Nova Scotia or you want to get on the high banks, it's the last race for Riverside in 2021. Make the trip. If you got a pro stock, make the trip. It's going to be a fun weekend. And then, yes, Valley Raceway's second race of 2021. We had a great event. Valley Raceway is open. We have 4 races, so this is the second. If you have a 4-cylinder and you haven't had it out in a while, or an old street stock in Nova Scotia, bring it out. It's going to be a fun time. So that kicks off 1 p.m. Melbourne Square. It's not far up the road from CFB Greenwood. You can find the details on Valley Raceway's Facebook. And kind of like what Michael said, it's a busy time. It's drawing to an end, but we're certainly going out with a bang here with lots of racing, and that's a good problem to have.
Can I ask... Dylan, go ahead.
What?
I have one thing to ask. Can we get the modifieds to Valley Raceway for the sake of Joe Hoyt, who has made his annual trip to the beach and the dirt on Speed Weekend? I think he would do really well there. They call him Joe Dirt for a reason.
If we say that, we got to bring the Bandoleros after last Saturday and Sunday with Brooke Dow going to the beach like 6 times.
And the whole field
there
at one point.
Yeah, half the field in turn 2 in the Sunday show.
What's your question, Brandon?
I heard that the 4 cylinders at Valley work a lot better when all 4 wheels stay on it.
Yes, you should ask Nathan Langell.
Oh, I asked. He said he's good if all 4 wheels stay on it.
We've got a pinch point here of about 60 seconds, so we need to get off because Paul is doing loose lugs here in about 5 minutes or so.
Paul is a loose lug.
At least all my lug nuts start.
At least they turn. At least the wheels turn, right? Oyster Bed races on Sunday as well, and I want to thank Chris Hughes. I don't know, boys, you talked about your bottles of wine. I got my bottle of wine already. So I don't know if you guys got your bottle of wine or collected on that. But
polished half that off. No wonder you weren't talking.
I've been sitting here doing the petty press release, working with the modified stuff, and finishing off a bottle of wine. So thank you to Chris and Cory for delivering that on Speed Weekend. And I don't know, I might need a second one by the time we get done at Oyster Bed this weekend. But get out to a racetrack, enjoy some great racing action. If you can't get there, watch it on Tim's Corner TV. sit back and enjoy some great ones, because as we mentioned, there's only a month or so left. Mike Stevens Memorial coming up next week. I'm going to be at Eastbound. We got a great show coming up next week to preview the Mike Stevens Memorial. I was talking to Jason Carnahan earlier today. I hear the Oscar music in behind. We got to get off. So on behalf of Brandon Campbell, Dylan Langell, Denver Matchett, Meredith Hay, I know, is watching. I want to thank everybody for being a part of this show. Thank you to all our guests, Cory Hall, Michael Cormier, the Goodwins. My name is Tim Terry. We will see you Friday night at Scotia Speed World when we say let's go racing for Car Star Night. Until then, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.